I know this can seem a bit overwhelming, so it helps to have a proven system that helps you navigate the journey to create, protect, and harvest the value from your business. The Exit Plan Institute has created the value acceleration methodology to help business owners navigate this journey. It all starts with understanding the value that you have created so far. As a business owner, your most important asset is your business. However, multiple studies by the Exit Planning Institute indicate that most business owners have no idea what their business is worth. How are you supposed to plan for your future if you don't even know the value of your most important asset? It's pretty hard. The value acceleration methodology systematically takes you through the process of understanding the present value of your assets, calculate the assets required to support your lifestyle in the future, and develop a plan to address the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Most business owners overestimate the value of their business. This can cause problems. First, you don't know the actual value of your business, so someone who understands this better than you can make an offer that sounds good to you, but is actually good for the buyer. Second, if you don't have a realistic appraisal of your business value, it is impossible to create a realistic financial plan for your future. Third, the number one reason that businesses don't sell is that business owners have unrealistic expectations of business value. And fourth, if you don't know the value of your business, you can't develop an adequate strategy to protect the value. Once you have identified your baseline value, your next priority is to protect what value you have already created by mitigating personal, financial, and business risks. In a variation of beginning with the end in mind, you should go through the different scenarios of bad things that might occur so that you can create a contingency plan in case they do. There is a 50% probability that you will have a forced exit from your business. The primary reasons are death, disability, divorce, departure, and disagreement. Failure to plan for these scenarios can have severe consequences. If you don't have a plan for protecting the value you have created, it can be destroyed very rapidly. If you don't take anything else from this training, develop a contingency plan. It really is that important. So let's start by taking a look at each of these scenarios. Let's start with death. We all have a limited time on this earth. The thing is, we don't know how long it'll be. It's not pleasant to ponder, but think about the consequences to your business, your team, your stakeholders, and your family. Some things to consider is that insurance can help you mitigate your risk. You might also want to think through how to structure your buy-sell agreement and who will run the business without you. How will the business continue? Have you written down the location for all your major documents and contracts so someone can find them? Who knows where your passwords are stored, or the lockbox key, or the safe combination? Death is one of the certainties of life. Our tendency is to avoid thinking of it, but you must. If it should happen and there is no plan in place, the legacy you leave could be one of even greater grief than the experience that your family and loved ones will experience from your loss. Nearly 50% of all individuals 35 or younger will be disabled for 90 days or longer prior to age 65. Approximately 30% of all people 35 to 65 will suffer a disability for at least 90 days, and about 1 in 7 can expect to be disabled for 5 years or more. You should have a plan in place for disability protection. I have personally experienced an episode of being disabled for about 3 months. It was a freak accident. I was hiking. I slipped off a rock and shattered my leg. A couple of surgeries and a lot of rehabilitation later, I finally got back to work. Without disability insurance, it would have been very trying financially for my wife and 3 kids. Flip a coin. That's the odds you face. A lot of entrepreneurs end up divorced. There's a lot of reasons for this. Common causes include financial strain, neglect, lack of communication, and divergent goals. To be a successful entrepreneur, your life often gets out of balance, and this ends up in divorce. So you should have a plan in place in case this should occur. Things change. What seemed like a good idea at the beginning might not be such a good idea with the passage of time. So you may find that you or your partner want to move on before the other partner is ready. It pays to have a plan in place. Some questions that will need answered. Where does the money come from to pay off the departing partner? Who will do the work to ensure the business continues? How do you fairly compensate or buy out the departing partner? How do you avoid conflicts during the process? And most importantly, do you have a contract outlining how all this works? Entrepreneurs tend to be stubborn, opinionated, and somewhat inflexible in their points of views. Founders and partners don't always agree on everything, nor do they need to for the business to thrive. However, unresolvable disagreements can create situations that may harm the company, team, even client relationships. Spelling out a policy and procedures to work through such critical disagreements, such as reinvesting for growth or taking dividends, how to structure benefits or taxes, and when and how to sell, will help protect all involved. Now we get to the fun part, building value. While you own your business, you should always be thinking of building value. Later in this presentation, we will go through some of the major characteristics that enhance the value of your business. There are 2 major ways to enhance value: improve the cash that your business generates, and improving the multiple you receive. Cash is often referred to as what we call a tangible asset. It's very measurable, and you can get the value of your cash from your audited financial statements. Your multiple is more subjective and is called an intangible asset. It's largely predicated on the value of your intellectual capital, which we will discuss next. Intangible assets are often called knowledge capitals, and they basically can be divided into 4 areas. First is human capital, which is the value of your team. Second is structural. That is the value of your systems and your intellectual property. Third is customer. That's the value of your customer relationships and the number of customers you have. Fourth is social. It's the value of your brand and your culture. Understanding each of these and enhancing them to the greatest extent possible will put you in the top range of multiples for your particular industry. Harvesting value is reaping the rewards of your efforts. It could be by building your business so it runs without you, so you can use your time to pursue other activities, or it could be selling your business and using the proceeds to finance the next stage of your life. Ideally, you harvest value over the years to diversify income streams to finance the lifestyle that you desire. The most mature level of value acceleration is managing value. Managing value is the last stage of value maturity, but that's not because it comes at the end after you harvest. It is last because it represents full maturity. You should obviously be managing value through the entire process, not just at the end. If you have identified, protected, built, and harvested value from a personal, financial, and business standpoint, then you have managed your value. Managing your value begins with identifying it. Also, I should note, managing wealth is different than creating it. If you sell your business, you need to focus on net proceeds, which is what you will receive after you pay the expenses associated with the transaction, including advisory fees and taxes. Advanced preparation is the key. Many strategies to avoid taxes need to be put in place well before the transaction occurs. I thought it would be appropriate to end this section with a quote from Chris Snyder, who's the president of the Exit Planning Institute. For baby boomer business owners, exit planning is the number one business and personal challenge of our time. Over the next 10 to 20 years, we will likely see an unprecedented set of business exits. How ready are we as business owners? Statistically speaking, not very. Something keeps us from approaching this area of business strategy. Since baby boomers own most of the businesses in the United States, this means that it is likely that it will be a buyer's market when you decide to exit. Those who fail to plan for this environment will be much less likely to achieve a successful exit. You should also factor in the fact that the economy normally goes through periods of expansion and contraction, which can affect the market for selling your business. And we are overdue for a contraction. Put these two factors together, and you might find that the market for your business is especially challenging. This is why it is imperative that you plan ahead. In our next video, we will explore the topic of strategic prosperity planning in greater detail.